because Taraji P. Henson, everybody knows that when The Color Purple was releasing, Taraji P. decided to use her press run for the movie. So she's marketing the movie. Let me see. She's marketing the movie, and she decides to use that as an opportunity to say, hey, y'all, I ain't even really being paid right for real. Not only am I not being paid right, some of the conditions on set and all around the set wasn't right either. Like, I didn't have my own trailer at first. I was having to drive myself to work. That's a lie. But she was just giving us this whole rundown of how bad this production was when it comes to the treatment of actors. So people pretty much like took heed and was like, oh, Taraji, people love Taraji. So Taraji is being treated bad, then I'm going to pump the brakes on going to see this movie, because this was supposed to be like the super black cast. Oprah was getting back involved because she was part of the original. So Oprah's involved. It's an all-star lineup of people. You got Fantasia, you got Halle Bailey, you got Danielle Brooks, I think her name is. And like I said, you got Taraji and a host of other people, right? So people was fired up to go see this movie, and they were making a musical out of it. So they're like, okay, we're going to give this a chance, right? But then Taraji came out and did that, and people said, pump the brakes on it a little bit, like, whoa, if they treating Taraji bad, then I don't know about this. This is kind of pointing back to what Monique was saying about Oprah and them. Like, Oprah, you involved in this. Why is Taraji being underpaid and treated bad? Like, so now we looking at something where a black executive producer is involved, and the black actors are still not getting the right treatment. So people pretty much pumped the brakes on going to see this movie. And now Taraji is coming back to say, hey guys, don't let all the negative stuff I said about this production make y'all not go see the movie. Like, please go see the movie. And the reason she came back out and said that pretty much is because the movie is now starting to look like it's flopping. Now, let's brief about the numbers real quick, right? This movie cost $100 million to make. Now, somebody please tell me why Color Purple cost $100 million. I can't imagine why a movie like this would cost $100 million to make in the city of Atlanta, and actors are still underpaid, don't have transportation, and don't have their own trailers and stuff like that. So what did y'all spend $100 million on then? If it wasn't the actors, it wasn't the production, it wasn't, amenities and things for the actors, where did all this money go? You can't tell me that Atlanta and shooting in movie sets in different places in Atlanta cost that much money. Who got all that money for this $100 million musical that they made? Did they give all the money to the choreographers or the people who wrote the songs again? Or did they give the money to the musicians? Like, who got that money? Because this don't even make no sense. So after a $100 million budget, and now after the movie came out on Christmas, so now after about 3 or 4 weeks now since this movie has been out, their box office numbers are around $60 million, which is not that good. It's not good, right? So you spent $100, and now the hype is really dying down around the movie now. Essentially, Taraji sabotaged it. I don't want it to be looked at like that, but that's what she did. She hijacked the marketing campaign to talk about her grievances, which is, that's up to her. She can do that if she want to do that. But that's what happened. She decided to tell everybody how bad things were, and now the movie is around $60 million at the box office. I think that's total worldwide gross. And there was even a minor, I don't know if you want to call it a scandal or whatever, but initially they reported that they made $13 million at the box office the opening day, and it came out that it was actually $11 million. So they're like, they looking at them a little bit funny now, because why is Warner Brothers Studios reporting it bad? Why y'all not giving the real numbers, or why did y'all give that bad projection or estimate? So it's unfortunate. I want to know, honestly though, of all of the black movies and black producers and creators that say they wanted a big budget for a film and studios turned them down and all this other stuff, what made them say, let's do $100 million Color Purple remake musical? First of all, the Color Purple, as the conscious community has risen in this country over the last 10 to 15 years, the Color Purple has been one of the main points of contention in propaganda against black people. So what I'm saying is people in the conscious community have called out the Color Purple and how it negatively depicts black people for years. People have been calling this movie out for many years. So now with social consciousness as heightened as it is right now, what made them think that The Color Purple was the movie they should remake? And also, what made them think that $100 million is something that they would be able to recoup on a movie like that in the climate like this. You got child abuse, you got molestation, you got pedophilia, you have abuse in relationships, you have what's still a controversial topic, homosexuality. I don't think it's controversial, but I'm just saying it is causing controversy in that movie. You have 5 major points that get emphasized as a problem in the community. And y'all thought y'all should spend $100 million to make this movie. I don't know where they thought they was going to make that money back at. To me, it feels like a setup. So it's like, now, look, black movies can't perform. We finally put the money up. We had all the names behind it. We had all of the marketing behind it. We put all this up and they still couldn't recruit. So they're going to use that as a mark against black consumers, period. And to say these movies, the movies for them are not worth that unless we can find some way to make it a universal audience. Because black people are not going to go watch these movies for them. That's how they're going to take it. When they should take it as it was never a good idea in the first place. Nobody was asking for it in the second place. In third place, who wanted Color Purple to be a musical? Who asked for that? The first movie, if you just look at the first movie and what it was and just throw the negative stereotypes and depictions out the way, the first movie was a good movie. It was a great movie. It was a great movie. It was shot good. The storyline was good. It was good. Good acting, everything, right? With that being said, who looked at The Color Purple and said, I wish this was fully a musical? Who's behind that? And then who was behind saying this should be a musical for black people in 2023, 24, and it needs $100 million budget? Who was behind that? I would love to know, because I feel like it was a setup, right? But this is one thing I do want to point out, right? Because this is not just a failure on the part of The Color Purple and their producers and creators, right? I do want to say, now, The Color Purple is one of the most expensive musicals ever made into a movie, right? At $100 million budget, it's in the top 10. Let me see. Right now, it would be ranked as the 6th. It'd be tied for 6th most expensive musicals ever at $100 million. But I do want to point out, though, that it's not the biggest flop, though. Let me read a couple other musicals, and I think some of y'all will be shocked at how much some of these flop, because this is crazy. Give me a second. Let me. This is a movie. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but this is a movie called Mamma Mia. Right? Here we go again. So I guess Here We Go Again was the sequel, but let me read this, right? The 2008 film had a budget. So that's the first one, the Mamma Mia, right? The 2008 film had a budget of $52 million and had a total gross earning of around $6 million at the box office, right? So they had a movie called Mamma Mia. It cost them $52 million to make. They only made $6 million back. That was in 2008. So you know what they did for these white people in this movie? I'm looking at the image. Meryl Streep is in this. I'm looking at this. $6 million at the box office off of $52 million. That's a complete failure. That's a flop. They should have thrown everything about that movie in the trash. But you know what they did? Because of, shout out to whiteness, right? You know what they did? They said, let's make another one and let's spend more money on it. So then here's what they did. Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again revisits the character 5 years after the wedding. The film had an even bigger budget and earnings. The $75 million produced sequel made a total of around $4 million at the box office, according to Things, whoever that is. And they said that, so Meryl Streep was paid $3 million for that movie, and they only made $4 million. So that's not the only one, though. Let me pull up some more failures. So whoever, I don't know if anybody's seen Mamma Mia, super flop. That flopped worse than The Color Purple. Let's see what else we got here. I think, here we go. West Side Story. They did a West Side Story musical in 2021, right? So with Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, however, the film had a bigger budget of $100 million as opposed to the $6 million. Okay. Due to COVID, the musical film flopped at the box office, making only $10.6 million. Now, this is a Steven Spielberg movie, $100 million budget, and they only made 10.6 million. And they want to blame it on COVID. That was 2021. They could have held that movie and not released it until things were open back up. Why would they release it in the middle of a shutdown? That don't make no sense. But either way, that's a big flop, huge flop. $100 million spent, only 10.6 million made back at the box office. Like, that's pretty crazy. That is pretty crazy. And that's just a few. You got, you know, you have some musicals that costed more, like Frozen and Frozen 2, but they both made $1 billion. So of course that was worth it. But I just want to say that, yes, The Color Purple did flop, or it is flopping. It's not over yet. So that maybe they can get a new marketing push. Maybe they send Taraji to the Breakfast Club. Maybe they send her to a few different places and have her talk about it and explain more as to why she thought it was a good idea to say all this while the movie was promoting. And maybe they can salvage this thing. But I do want to point out, if y'all can make 2 sequels, if y'all can make Mamma Mia and flop that bad, and then make Mamma Mia Strikes Again or Again, whatever the hell, and it flops that bad, then for sure don't hold this Color Purple crap against black actors and black creators and producers in Hollywood, right? And then you could make West Side Story, Steven Spielberg, flop that crazy, $100 million budget, only make $10 million at the box office. Come on, man.